Spelt and Spelt once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to welcome you to our whole grain of the day, the one and only Spelt. So maybe you know how to spell it, maybe you haven't even tasted it. Well, whatever the case may be, or maybe you love it. It doesn't really matter. Please listen and watch on. Why? Because we're about to dive just a little deeper into the wonderful world of Spelt. All right, first up, a little bit of background information. Spelt, also known as dinkel wheat or whole wheat, is a grain or cereal closely related to wheat. Also, the earliest archaeological evidence of Spelt is from the 5th millennium BC in Transcaucasia, which is located northeast of the Black Sea. Very interesting. Also, although it does contain gluten, yes, it does contain gluten, it seems to be tolerated more easily than wheat. So, for those of us who have gluten intolerances, or maybe you are gluten sensitive, or maybe you have some type of celiac disease, then you definitely need to put Spelt on your watch list. Of course, the amount of gluten is less than wheat, but after all, it does contain gluten. So once again, if you are sensitive to gluten, your body cannot tolerate gluten, or maybe you have celiac disease, then please, please, please put Spelt on your watch list. All right, now it's time for a few fun facts. There are actually two different types of Spelt flour sold at the store. Now, here's the thing, guys. You got to understand something. That when we process Spelt, we can actually get several different types of products, namely Spelt flour. Now, you will find white Spelt flour, which has had its germ and bran removed and has a lighter texture in baked goods. Now, unfortunately, when any type of wheat, and in particular Spelt, is processed, the germ and the bran are removed. Now, this does the body a whole lot of bad, believe it or not. Okay, of course, when once consumed. What we must remember is that the germ and the bran contain lots and lots of fiber and other phytonutrients, such as minerals, antioxidants, vitamins, and all types of things that are very, very good for the body. So even though it may create a flour that has a lighter texture, it renders the wheat itself, in this case Spelt, it renders it almost useless. Why? Because the majority of the nutrients and the fiber have been removed. Now, remember we said that there were two types? Well, let's talk about the second type. There is also whole Spelt flour, which gives you the full array of health benefits. Why? Because the germ and the bran have not been removed. So once again, if you're out about in the stores and you're looking for Spelt flour, you probably want to go with the whole Spelt flour and not the white Spelt flour. So there you have it, guys. A few fun facts about Spelt. All right, now it's time to dive into the 520 rule. Ladies and gentlemen, what you need to understand about the 520 rule is that it's all about food labels. Yes, food labels. Ultimately, the 520 rule is a guide. Basically, it's a guide that lets you know whether or not a food item is a good source or not a good source of any particular nutrient. Now, when talking about the 520 rule, we primarily pay special attention to percent daily value, abbreviated percent DV. Now, to get a more accurate account of this, let's take a look at our sample food label. As you can see, our sample food labels has a couple areas that are highlighted in different colors. First, take a look at the lavender color, which basically highlights percent daily value. And also notice that several different percentages are also highlighted. Now, there are certain nutrients that are highlighted in yellow, and then we have other nutrients that are highlighted in blue. For the sake of the 520 rule, let's first take a look at the nutrients that are highlighted in yellow. For instance, total fat, cholesterol, and sodium. Now, unfortunately, these ingredients, or shall I say nutrients, don't necessarily do the body good. As a matter of fact, when taking in excess amounts, these nutrients can lead to disease. That's right. Now, if we take a look at the nutrients that are highlighted in light blue, such as dietary fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron, well, those nutrients actually lead to health. They promote health. They do just the opposite of causing disease. They promote health, okay, and ultimately wealth. So when it comes to certain nutrients such as total fat, cholesterol, and sodium, you want to look for the smaller percentages. When it comes to the vitamins, minerals, and fiber, you want to look for the higher percentages. Now, yes, I did just give you higher and lower percentages, but now let's be a little more specific, especially when we're talking about the 520 rule. Now, if a food item offers anywhere from 0% to 9% of any particular nutrient, then that food item is not a good source of that particular nutrient. If it offers 10% to 19%, then it is considered a good source of that particular nutrient. And lastly, if the food item offers 20% or more, then it is considered an excellent source of that particular nutrient. So there you have it, guys, the ins and outs about the 520 rule. Now that we've covered the 520 rule, let's dive just a little deeper into the nutrition facts of spelt flour. So here we go, guys. A single serving of spelt flour is basically equivalent to only a single cup, okay? So within that cup, here's what we're going to get. 246 calories, only 2 grams of fat. Now notice there is 0 cholesterol, and yes, 0 cholesterol. Always remember this. If it comes from a plant, then it does not contain any cholesterol. But of course, you always want to check the food label to verify that. Next up, 10 milligrams of sodium, 51 grams of carbs, 8 grams of dietary fiber, amazing, 11 grams of protein, great. Now notice niacin has been highlighted in yellow. The reason why I highlighted it is because we're going to talk a little more about that later. But notice, one serving of spelt flour is going to give us 25% DV of niacin. So that means that spelt flour is an excellent source of niacin. Now let's talk about thiamine coming in at 13% DV. Well, it's a good source. Vitamin B6 coming in at only 8%, not a good source. Folate, 6%, not a good source. Vitamin E, 3%, not a good source. Now take a look at manganese, highlighted in yellow, coming in at a whopping 106% DV. How nice. So obviously, spelt flour is a super duper excellent source of manganese. Next up is phosphorus, coming in at 29%, excellent source. Magnesium coming in at 25% DV, excellent source. Then we have copper coming in at 21%, excellent source. Iron, 18% DV, good source. Zinc, 16% DV, good source. Selenium, 11% DV, good source. Potassium, 8% DV, not a good source. And lastly, calcium at only 2% DV, not a good source at all. So there you have it, guys, the nutrition facts about spelt flour. All right, now let's dive into the health benefits. But before we do, we got to understand that the health benefits and the nutrition facts are closely related. As a matter of fact, they're closely related because of the principle of cause and effect, which basically states that everything happens for a reason. In other words, every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. There is no such thing as chance and or luck, right? So in other words, the nutrition facts, or shall we say the nutrient contents, those are the causes. The health benefits are the effects. So whenever we eat spelt, this is what's going to happen. It's going to aid in your circulation. It's going to help build strong bones. It's going to boost your immune system. It's going to reduce inflammation. It's going to aid digestive function. It's going to decrease your cholesterol. It's going to reduce your high blood pressure. It's going to lower your blood sugar levels. And look, I mentioned to you earlier that we were going to talk a little more about manganese, right? So here's what manganese helps to do. Manganese helps prevent and treat osteoporosis. Amazing. And now let's take a look at niacin. Niacin can help to lower the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and memory loss. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. These are the health benefits of Spelt. Now, let's talk a little bit about food. Yummy, but specifically vegan food. Guys, I did my research about vegan Spelt recipes, and look at what I found on naturallyella.com. Naturally Ella provides lots and lots of vegan recipes, but specifically for Spelt, as well as other whole grains. Now, the first recipe that I got from naturallyella.com is roasted eggplant with cumin, or some people may pronounce it cumin, scented spelt, and fig chutney. Take a look at the picture. Looks delicious. Now, our second vegan spelt recipe is entitled spelt porridge with roasted blueberries. Yummy! Now, here's the great thing about these two recipes, especially if you are interested in making either one of them, is that I'm including a link in the description box. So please click on the description box, click on the link, and you'll find not only the ingredients, but it'll also give you the instructions as to how to make these wonderful dishes. Now, if you are so inclined to make them and taste them, please write me a comment and let me know exactly how they taste. Okay? So there you have it, guys. 2 vegan spelt recipes from naturallyella.com. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, all right, Coach D, I appreciate the fun facts. I love the background information, and I'm very interested in trying out those 2 different recipes that you just shared with us. But what I really want to know is, when should I eat more spelt? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the perfect day, and I do mean the perfect day to eat more spelt, is Nature Day. That's right, Nature Day. Nature Day happens to be the first day of the 23% challenge. Now, maybe you've been living on a rock and you know nothing about the challenge. Well, in a nutshell, the 23% challenge is a monthly 7-day wellness program that is designed to help improve your health, your wealth, your relationships, and it also helps to save planet Earth, all in only 7 days. Now, here's the thing. The 23% challenge, like I said earlier, is a 7-day challenge. Now, the cool part is that it's the first 7 days of every single month. Yes, the 1st through the 7th. Now, Nature Day is the first day of the challenge, which simply means that Nature Day is the first day of every single month. So whether it's October 1st, November 1st, or even December 1st, it's always Nature Day. So let's talk a little more about Nature Day, right? Because I know a lot of people are probably wondering, Coach D, what is Nature Day all about? I want more information. All right, here it comes. Guys, Nature Day is all about us getting closer to nature. Now, yes, there are lots of things you can do to get closer to nature. You can go swim in the ocean. You can go to a petting zoo and pet a few pets. Okay? But the way in which Coach D wants us to get closer to nature is by simply eating it. That's right, guys. It's time to eat more plants, right? Now, maybe you like the idea of eating more plants. Maybe you're considering transitioning to a more whole food plant-based diet. Well, if that's you, then please listen on. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach D has created 3 different types of vegan that he believes, or that I believe, can really help you make that transition very easily. So the first type of vegan is a 3% vegan, which basically means you only eat plant foods and only drink water only one day out of an entire month. Now, that could be any day of the month that you choose, any day of the week that you choose. But I like to promote Nature Day as that one day to eat only plant foods and drink only water. The second type of vegan is a 13% vegan. Now, that translates to only 4 days of only plant foods and water, only 4 days out of an entire month. Now, you can do the first 4 days, which is actually what I suggest. You can do 1 day per week, providing the month has 4 weeks. Or you can just arbitrarily pick any 4 days of any month that you choose to. And lastly is a 23% vegan, which technically is what Coach D is. Now, what does that mean? It means that for the first 7 days of every single month, I am a strict vegan, meaning I only eat foods that come from the 5 food groups of plant foods, meaning fruits, vegetables and herbs, whole grains, nuts and seeds, and let's not forget about our legumes, meaning beans and peas. So there you have it, guys. Coach D wants to know which vegan interests you the most. All right, time for a few tips from Coach D about how to have a successful Nature Day. Guys, there are lots of things that you can do to make sure that your Nature Day is successful. The first thing that you can do is go to your local grocery store. Now, if you choose this option, all you have to do is go hang out in the produce section of the grocery store. Why? Because that's where all your fresh produce is going to be located, meaning fresh plant foods. Now, you can also go walk on over to the freezer aisle, right? Because that's where you're going to find your frozen vegetables, your frozen fruits, and maybe even some frozen legumes over there. Now, your second option or second tip is to go visit a farmer's market. Guys, believe it or not, farmers markets are amazing, and they do offer a few advantages over a grocery store. For instance, because the fruit is grown locally, that means less transit time. Less transit time means less cost to the farmer, and then that savings is passed on to you. Also, because it's grown locally, it simply means that the food is going to be sprayed with fewer pesticides and herbicides, right? Next up is to walk on over to the prepared dishes section of your local grocery store. Now, there are some advantages to going over to the prepared dishes section of the grocery store. Some people may term it the kitchen, right? But just walk on over there and ask them if they have any vegan or vegetarian options. Now, if it's something that you've never tried before, then simply ask for a sample taste, and they'll be more than happy to give it to you. Providing you like it, go ahead and order something. Maybe buy it by the pound or maybe even 2 pounds, especially if it tastes really, really good. And my last tip is for us to go visit a vegan restaurant. That's right, guys. Vegan restaurants are wonderful. Why? Because, well, number one, they employ vegan chefs who basically know how to combine plant foods to get the most nutrients and the best taste, right? And also, it's a great way for us to support the wellness community. Now, here's something that I want you to pay special attention to. If you decide to visit a vegan restaurant, and I hope you do, then do 2 things. Number 1, let them know that Coach D sent you. And number 2, be sure to order something that has Spelt in it. All right, time for our question of the day. And it comes from yours truly and the rest of the 23% nation. Why? Because we have inquiry minds. We want to know, which Spelt recipe do you prefer? Was it the first one or the second one? Or maybe, just maybe, you know of a vegan Spelt recipe that you would like to share with us. So whether you want to take one of mine or share one of yours, please write your answer in the comment box below. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. This is your man, Coach D. Now, before I sign out, I got to ask you to please subscribe, like, and share the video, especially if you love Spelt. And don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's hashtag eat more plants. As stated earlier, my name is Coach D. Always remember to take care, God bless, and never ever forget that Coach D loves you.